and with our getting ready to get ready being complete, it is my privilege and my pleasure to declare for the recording that this is September the 1st of 2024, and it is Happy Labor Day weekend, beautiful people. I am Reverend Vicki Jeter, your minister for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter, and I want to thank everyone for participating in Hat Day. It is so much fun. If you look around, you'll see different forms of hats, and they express different things. That is in celebration of the fact that our speaker this morning is our founding minister, Rev Carolyn Harvill, and she's going to launch our new theme for the month, which is Pieces into Peace. And I'll let her tell you more about that when she gets to it. So just taking a breath and shifting. I'm sure many of you are also looking forward to some expanded weekend time for Labor Day. And I thought I would just see what's out there celebrating Labor Day. And I found a little poem written by a young lady named Lily Pluta, who is in grade school. People work, people play. That's why we have Labor Day. Plumbers, bakers, painters, vets, fishermen with giant nets, firefighters, engineers, barbers snipping with their shears, teachers, waiters, nurses, cooks, authors writing thrilling books, carpenters and deputies, people who take care of bees. No matter what it is you do, there's one thing that is always true. Every worker needs to rest. I hope your Labor Day is the best. How could there be, but that could be our opening prayer. However, going into opening prayer, today is another very special opportunity that we have to come together as community and tune into the awesome power of spirit, because when we address everything that's going on, the challenges, the joys, when we dream together, when we vision together, grounded in spirit, the highest and best good can move through and emerge most naturally and effortlessly. And that is probably one of my very favorite things about coming together in community every week. So, as we move to take this atmosphere into opening prayer, we begin by setting intention. Take a moment to see what brought you to be with us today. And collectively, our intention together is to open our hearts and minds to the delightful Miss Rev Carolyn Harvill, who always inspires us with such a maternal love and a sense of that connection to spirit that is just like a warm hug. And I know that that is the way that she's going to launch today, for this sense of taking the pieces of our lives and coming into universal peace. And with that, I open this prayer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Divine Mother, Father, God, for the gift of life, for the gift of love, and for the gift of the law that sustains us here. And the recognition that there is one source, one love, one law, of which we are all a part. And from this alignment in mind, heart, and soul, I open this time as being divinely guided, guarded, directed, and protected through each one of us as vessels of spirit, knowing that Reverend Carolyn's word is the word of the one, reaching each of us where we have shown up. And I call it good and very good. I let it be, and so it is. And with that, we do welcome you to Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. Officially, we welcome all paths to God. We welcome your questions. We welcome your mystery. And whether you are with us for the first time today or watching us on YouTube later, thank you for being here, because you are what we are about. And this brings us to our opening song, You Are the Light by Miss Denise Rosier.
You'll change dust into gardens, pieces into peace, tears into fountains, chains into release. You are doubt into action, vision renewed, perfect creation, unfolding in view. You hold on, love, heaven inside you. No matter what you go through, and if your dreams burn down to ashes, you rise again. You are the light of God, the power of prayer, lifted up. Every breath testifies you are the light. You are the light. You are the light. You hold on, love, heaven inside you. No matter what you go through, and if your dreams burn down to ashes, rise again. You are the light of God, the power of prayer, lifted up. Every breath testifies you are the light. You are the light. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. You are the light of God, the power of prayer, lifted up. Every breath testifies you are the light. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Dust into gardens, pieces into peace.
God bless Denise Rosier. Pieces into Peace brings us into our mission and vision. The mission of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind, and celebrating all paths to God, which manifests our vision of a world that honors and respects all people. Now, of course, we realize that none of this is worth its salt if it doesn't actually change your life. So each week we have an application of what we believe that come from around the world. It comes from our teaching specifically, but all kinds of places, because the science of mind is everywhere. And so this week, our application is: when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And that is actually credited to both Jimi Hendrix and Mahatma Gandhi. Now for our sacred reading and meditation, it is my pleasure to turn this over to Miss Tammy Evans.
Good morning. Today's reading is from The Peace That Conquers by Ernest Holmes, and he gave this each Sunday, November 7th in 1954. You and I know that no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we shall become peace. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. It is an announcement of the presence of God, and God is peace. Peace I live with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Ye believe in God, also believe in me. This is what Jesus was talking about and what Gandhi understood. This is the only thing that will bring peace on earth. We want peace on earth. Let us pray for peace in our own hearts. Let us affirm peace in our own minds. Let us live as though peace were the mandate of God, because it is. Let us, out of the stillness of our own soul, reach back into that ineffable presence, which is peace, and proclaim it even in the midst of confusion. Peace, which is the power at the heart of God. Now please join me in meditation. Relax. Get comfortable in your seat. Take a few deep cleansing breaths and allow my words to become yours. I easily tune into the peace at the center of my soul. I am reminded that when I am connected to Source, there is peace. When I am at peace, there is an inner calm that nothing can disturb. Source is always at peace because there is nothing to disturb it. Whenever I realize I'm not at peace, I breathe and go within. I know there is only good and greater good unfolding in my world. I am surrounded by peace. I am immersed in peace. There is nothing but peace. Daily, I affirm what I want, and I claim it as mine. I am reminded that confusion sets in only when I'm feeling separate from the one. And that somewhere within us is a higher consciousness that is always at peace. I know that when I am at peace, I am living in the present. When I remember that I am one with the one, I find peace. I set myself a goal of peace, and I organize my life around it. I carefully choose my thoughts, knowing that my thoughts create my reality. I choose love. I choose joy. I choose peace. Take a deep breath and listen in the stillness. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. Namaste. Now, please join us for our special music, I'll Be Peace by Melissa and Z.
Meditated Monday morning, I was feeling good. Then I cut a guy off on the freeway, he misunderstood. He gave me a sign before I knew it, I gave it right back. Next thing I know, I'm feeling like a homicidal maniac. Sunday I went to church, walked out on a cloud. I was feeling pretty special, all holier than thou. Ran into my ex at the market, wished I were dead. Next thing I know, I'm crying, spent the rest of the day in bed. If I want peace, gotta start where I am. And I want peace, now I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. Now I'm gonna stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. Oh yeah, I'll be peace. Wednesday I woke up to a full day, had my list to do. Get my chakras balanced, Reiki, acupuncture too. Ran to my psychic reading, then massage and steaming sauna. Next thing I know, I'm way too tired to ever find nirvana. But if I want peace, it's gotta start where I am. And I want peace, now I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. And now I'm gonna stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. Oh yeah, I'll be peace.
Everyone, everywhere, everything, every place, every time I was insane. Pressing and testing, arresting and fretting, upsetting and stressing my brain. I can't abide, I try to hide, nowhere to go, and it just takes me lower and tighten my fright and lies that ignite. The only repose to hold and go slower, so I take a minute to turn myself around, and then I take another to calm myself all the way down. I remember to breathe, I remember to feel the relief inside of me that never ever leaves me. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just peace. Alright.
You know I wanna peace. It's gotta start where I am. And I want peace. I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. And now I'm gonna stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. Oh yeah.
Dizzy with Dizzy, you like the tizzy?
I'll be peace.
Dizzy with Dizzy, you like the tizzy?
I'll be peace. Oh, 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 yeah.
Dizzy with Dizzy, you like the tizzy?
I'll be peace.
Dizzy with busy, your life in a tizzy. I think I'm gonna replace some of the things I say when I get frustrated in the kitchen with that. That really works for me. And so I want to invite us all to take a breath and shift from that fantastic space into preparing for the message of the day. I just want to do a little reminder because we're at a new month. So introducing our themes. The theme for the year, you may remember, is a grand rising. Our theme for this month is Pieces into Peace, and we're going to be looking at various aspects of that. And today is Rising from Pieces into Peace. And with that, I turn it over to you, Reverend Carolyn.
Thank you, Vicki. My goodness, that was a beautiful song. a beautiful preparation for what we're going to be talking about. And I've got a frog. Yeah, I just really enjoyed that song. I enjoyed the truth of it and the fun of it and the brightness that it brings to us. So first, I want to say thank you for being here this morning on this holiday weekend. I really appreciate your taking time out to join us, to be with your community, and to celebrate life. And today we're going to be talking about pieces into peace. Pieces into peace. Do you ever feel like you're falling apart? Do you ever feel like that life is totally out of control and everything is just crazy? You know, it could be your money, that you all of a sudden you don't feel like you have enough of it, or it's in the right place. Your health, something can be bothering you that you've had long term, or it's new. Your relationships, those are hard sometimes to have good, friendly, fun relationships. And that means everything from the people you live with to the people that you meet walking down the street. Pieces. We feel like we're falling apart and we feel like what are we going to do to pull everything together and to live in peace? And so when it feels like everything is falling to pieces and you're not sure what can be done, draw on the peace deep inside your soul. Spiritual wisdom and tools can help us awaken and rise to the truth that, as Dr. Ernest says, peace is always at the center of our soul. Today, we're going to be sharing a lot of quotes from Dr. Holmes. He's very special to our service, our religion, our faith, our way of life. He wrote the textbook and so many other books that we rely on and that we quote and that we just love. And so today that we're going to be visiting his words and his wisdom in a number of different ways. From the talk that he gave, The Peace That Conquers, you and I know that no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we shall become peaceful. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. Peace, the divine reality at the heart of God. When we get that and understand that, then we know that peace is always available. It's always just waiting for us to recognize it and to bring it into our lives. We're going to talk about not peace too, that feeling of being out of control. We feel circumstances are in control and are working against us, feel a lack of understanding and hope. That comes with traffic, it comes with our relationships, it comes with our life, it comes with our health, it comes with everything that influences our lives. And so we want to find that peace, recognize it, know that it's constant, and draw on it. The outline for this talk said, take something from your personal life and share it. So I thought about that and I looked at my personal life and I could find a lot of things that cause not peace, but they're not resolved. And so I didn't really feel good about sharing them. They're still out there picking at me. And so I will continue to work on accepting them and moving past them. But the example that came to me that really spoke to me happened over 30 years ago. I went through a divorce. It was not a happy thing. As most people know, if you've been through a divorce or you know other people that have been through a divorce, it can be the most stressful of times. It is full of pitfalls and things that grab at our peace and try to tear it apart. And so I was in that place. I knew that our 17-year marriage needed to end. It was negative in my life, It was negative in my husband's life, and it was negative in my children's life. We were not building good memories. We were not supporting each other and being supported. So I decided, and we agreed, that it was time to end our marriage. Well, that's easier said than done. We were not in a place of having a lot of money. We just didn't have a lot. And my husband didn't have a job and he couldn't move out. We separated, we filed, and we lived in the same house. Talk about hard. That it's supposed to be over and he's supposed to be gone, but he's not. And because of finances, he didn't leave for a number of weeks. He was finishing up an EMT program. And when he finished that up, then he got a job and could go. But until then, we were in the house together. I had made a commitment to try not to involve my children, not to talk about their father, not to let them hear us argue, not to have them have any more attention than they absolutely had to. So that meant I needed a positive attitude on a regular basis. I needed to keep smiling, and it wasn't easy. So one day it was really hard. Everything had gone really hard. Working outside the home was fairly new to me. I'd only had a job outside the home for about a year and a half, and I was still exhausted every day. There's something about going to work and staying from 8 to 5 and being on the entire time because you had work to do and you had people to react to that was just exhausting. So add that to the tension that I was feeling in my life because of a soon-to-be ex-husband living in my house. So one afternoon, it got to be too much. It was just too much. I grabbed my journal and I left the house. I don't know where I thought I was going, but I just left the house and started walking. Well, there was a park just a few blocks down, and I found myself there. And I found a tree, and I sat down by that tree and I leaned back and I cried. I didn't cry that wonderful, gentle cry, that we ladies are supposed to have. I sobbed and made a lot of noise and kept thinking, people are going to hear me. They're going to think I'm crazy. And I just can't stop. So I sat there for a long time, crying and sobbing and carrying on. Then finally, I settled down enough that I could journal. And I did. Journaling got me through my divorce. It got me through a lot of things in my life. But I don't know that I would have survived without it during that time. And so I journaled and thought about it and thought about what I wanted to do and thought about who I wanted to be. And in a while, I went home. That was not the only time I did that. When it got to be more than I could handle, when I could no longer smile at my children, I would go for a walk and sit by a tree. Now, I look at it now and I see it from the perspective of Ernest Holmes, and I know exactly what he was talking about. But then I didn't have that language. I was an evangelical Christian. That's slightly different from what I am now. And so my prayer was not so much knowing the truth of my being as begging for help. Oh, and I'm so grateful that I no longer do that, that I now understand that prayer is when I remind myself and go to the place where I know the truth of God. I know the absolute peace that is spirit, because that's what the affirmative prayer is all about. I didn't know that then. And so I did the best I could. And I look back on it and I'm so grateful that Spirit gave me that opportunity and encouraged me and kept encouraging me through that time. So I got through it and our family got through it and we were much better off afterwards. Uh, Barnett, put up the first slide, please. This is what Ernest Holmes told us. Don't you love that picture of Ernest? It just looks so much like the man that he was, a gentle, kind person, a brilliant mind, and a huge commitment to people, to teaching, to sharing love and truth. I love that picture. There was a time in my life when I read everything I could about the man, Ernest, and I enjoyed that so much because he was a unique individual and he had so much to give and his history had so much to share. But he wrote this: when you become confused, stop and listen to your inner calm. Turn from the confusion to that deeper something within. Say, I am submerged in peace. I am surrounded by peace. I am immersed in peace. There is nothing but peace. Peace deep, calm, undisturbed. This comes from his book, This Thing Called You. If you've never read that book, I really recommend it. It's just a little book, and there's a class that we teach on it, and it is a, a huge shot of inspiration and kindness and peace and learning. It's just a life-changing book because it helps us to see our lives as something different. It's something more. And so I didn't have the words for it. I didn't have uh, the understanding of it, but in my own way, I had the experiencing of stopping, listening, and knowing peace. And so that's what we are called to do. What is peace? It is the presence of spirit. We can access it at any time. It is the very center of our being. Spirit, spirit. Peace moves us from the feeling of being separate in the world to the realization of the oneness of all that is, that God's source is at the center of our being. Our job is to understand the bigger truth. That's what our journey in life is all about. It is understanding the truth of spirit, understanding the truth of ourselves, and living more and more in alignment with that. And so knowing that peace is at the center of spirit and it is at the center of each of us. Oh, we cover it up. We cover it up with all sorts of things. We get distracted. We let the irritations of life take precedence in our thinking and in our experiencing. And it's our opportunity to let that be and let it go and remember the truth of our being, which is peace. The definition of peace in the glossary of the Science of Mind text: a state of inner calm, an inner calm so complete that nothing can disturb it. How do you talk about that? How do you share about that? That inner calm that nothing can shake, that inner knowing of the presence and the truth of our being. The peace which comes on from the knowledge that it is all. There's only one. There's one spirit. There's one experience. There's one life. It's all one. And to know that the fathomless peace is meant by the peace of the spirit. This is the peace to which Jesus referred when he said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. The infinite is always at peace because there is nothing to disturb it. There is nothing to disturb the peace of spirit. There is nothing that can distract from that truth. It is, and it always will be, and it's constant, and it's strong, and it's supportive, and we are part of it. We have the full experience of it as we recognize it and invite it into our lives. The infinite is always at peace because there is nothing to disturb it. A realization of our oneness with omnipresence brings peace. The peace which is accompanied by consciousness of power. Omnipresence, we don't talk about it enough. If we understand it and live it and accept it, our lives are totally different from what they are. Omnipresence helps us to know the truth that spirit is everywhere. It is always with us. It is never disturbed. It is never taken from us. It's always there, waiting for us to recognize it. So, Vernon, the second slide, please. Ernest gave us a plan. When we don't have peace, what do? We need a plan. We need something that we fall back on and know that we can be there for it always. We can use it. And it's stop, drop, and pray. We stop whatever we're doing, notice without judgment that we are not feeling peaceful, and turn away from that condition. I didn't have the words for it, but that's what I was doing when on an afternoon or evening, I would grab my journal and stop what was happening in my life and move out to the park and sit and think differently and know differently and recognize that there was presence in my life. So you stop and then you drop from your head into your heart. Breathe, calm, go within. What do we mean by dropping from our head to our heart? The things that disturb us are in our head. The things that make us feel less than what we are things that come up in our head. And they are constantly picking at us. We didn't do that right. We should have thought more like this. And we pick at ourselves. Someone that we thought would be there for us wasn't. The financial prosperity that we know we deserve and that we know is ours doesn't seem to be expressing itself in our lives. People are treating us less than what they could or should or what we want. Any of those things can disturb us, but they're all based in our head. They're all based on worrying and seeing things that are temporary and things that are based on falsehoods as stronger than us, stronger than our peace, stronger than our knowing. And we are in that place of non-peace. So we stop, we look around, we look at what's happening, and then we drop from our head, from the disturbance into our hearts, where we know truth, where we know that God is everything and everything is peace. And then we pray. We pray as spirit. We pray for what we do want to have happen. We pray as peace, knowing only good and greater good is unfolding in our world. No, there is a power for good in the world, greater than we are, and we can use it now. I wasn't praying with a spirit. I was praying as an evangelical Christian, which has a lot of beseeching in it and a lot of feeling less than, that my being was not worthy of having life be good. I was not worthy. And so that's where my prayer 30 years ago was coming from. It's not where my prayer is now, because I have grown to know, and I have listened to Ernest Holmes and many others, and know that I am spirit. I am one with the whole. What spirit is, I am. There is no separation. There is no lack. There is no less than. There is simply the truth of oneness. omnipresence, and oneness. And that's where my prayer comes from now. Thankfully, what I am so thankful for my life and my seeking and searching and finding truth. Our truth, our peace is found at the heart of God. And we find that by seeking and knowing and welcoming the truth of oneness. Peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. Author unknown. That peace that passeth understanding, that peace that is ours to experience and to have and to know and to love. June decided to move to New York. She had a job there and she was very excited about the job. It was something she really wanted to do. And so she moved to New York. New York is not a very peaceful place. It has a lot of disturbances to it. Walking down the street, the noise and the number of people that you're passing can be very distressing. And she found that there was just a lot that was pulling at her and speaking to her of not peace. And she knew she wanted to be peace and that she could be, but she just didn't know how. And she was walking around one day around her neighborhood, and she came upon a plot of ground. And she could tell by looking at it, it wasn't very big. It just was this plot of ground, of dirt, that it had one time been a garden. And now it was just caked with garbage that people threw there and weeds that were growing there. And it was just overrun with all the things that didn't bring about peace or beauty. And at something in that day, looking at that, she decided that she would bring beauty back to that spot. And so she began to pull weeds and pick up garbage. And the next time she came, she brought garbage sacks and she picked up garbage and she picked up weeds and she bought a shovel and she shoveled the dirt and turned it so that she could get the roots of the weeds and so that she could get the dirt to a place where it would support growth again. And she worked on it really hard. And for pretty soon, she had uh, the stool, the bench that she had found in that plot of ground, and she had cleaned it up, and she had that sitting there so she could sit on it. So when she came, she had a place to sit and to be with the garden itself. And she planted flowers, lots of flowers, different kinds, different colors, and watched as they came up and bloomed and died, and then came up with a different kind of flower. And she found peace at that plot of ground. When she came there and sat and looked at the ground, looked at the flowers, and realized that she had had a part in bringing beauty to the world, she was at peace. And it was a peace that she could carry with her through the day and through her job and through everything that was going on. Peace. We find peace in our own way. You know, some people have they walk. Some people sit on a porch. Some people sit in a favorite chair and they feel peace at that time. Maybe they have a favorite reading or a favorite song, or they have a book of devotions and devotionals and they read one every day. But different people find that spot of peace in different ways and at different times. And that's up to each of us to find that for ourselves so that we can experience peace not only in that moment, but in the rest of our days, because we know how to touch and to come into contact with peace. And so I encourage you to think about, where do you find peace? Where is it that you get into the touch and the feeling of that inner calm within your life? Where is that? Where will you experience it? Can you bring it more into your life? Can you practice finding peace more? As I was thinking about how to close this talk, I decided that we would read something else by Ernest and we would try to be in touch with what he was telling us and have a few moments. Now, I thought the devotional by Tammy was wonderful. She gave us a great opportunity to be at peace and to know and recognize that. And I thought, well, you shouldn't do another one. You can't do too many. It's just not possible to meditate and know peace too often. So this is how we're going to finish the talk this morning. Vernon, would you put up the third slide? Look at the slide. See the puzzle pieces that create the heart? Vicky was the one that found that and has created this theme for the slides for the day and for this month. And I thought, how beautiful it is. How beautiful to see the pieces fitting together, because that's what we do as our lives interact and we share who we are. We're little pieces fitting together to know the greater good, the love of spirit. So now I invite you to take a deep breath and settle. Let your shoulders drop. Let them just be uh, relaxed. Let your tummy be relaxed. Quit holding it in and let it just relax. And let that feeling fill you of being at one, being at peace. You and I know that no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we shall become peaceful. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. If we will take the time and choose our spot, we can let go of confusion and get ourselves feeling and expressing peace. And the more we do so, the more peaceful we are. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. Peace is the divine reality at your heart, at your wholeness, at your oneness, at the center of your being. Peace. Let it fill you. Let it love you. Let it be your deepest experience in this moment. Peace. That place of knowing oneness, life expressed. And so it is.
Now's the time for the giving of our gifts. And we thank you for all the ways that you support LCSL. The ways to give are in the chat. And if you choose to give by check, our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 43958, Louisville, Kentucky 40253. Now, please join me in affirming today's affirmation. My prosperity multiplies as all the puzzle pieces of my life fall into place.
Thank you, Reverend Carolyn. Thank you, Tammy. Such a beautiful team going on. And this is one of those times when we can feel it's all been said, it's all been done, and this little basket is just receiving all this energy and multiplying it like the fish and the loaves. Thank you, thank you, thank you, each and every one of you, for being a piece in the puzzle of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I bless it, I release it, I let it be, and so it is.
So now it's time for our announcements. First Wednesday Spiritual Connection, setting and keeping healthy boundaries in a world that works for everyone. That is this coming Wednesday, September 4th, from 7 to 8 on the Zoom. And our men's group is this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on this link also. And our first Saturday visiting, Telebridge only. There's the phone number there, and the access code is this week, September 7th at 10 a.m. for 45 minutes. Next week's speaker is our own Reverend Vicki Jeter, and the talk is Pieces into Peace, Waking Up to Oneness. And if you haven't already, plan to join our next class by Vicki. Katrina's assisting her, and that'll be on Tuesdays for 6 weeks starting October 8th from 7 to 9 Eastern. And it's the Love Offering's 140 plus one book.
Thank you, Tammy. I wanted to just lend a little more oomph to this about this class, because this piece of how to live this teaching is a central point. You guys have probably heard the term mental equivalence many times, and certainly if you've had some basic courses, you probably work some with your mental equivalent. But for anyone who doesn't quite correlate it as soon as you hear that term anymore, one of the ways to think about it is that when you look at that teaching symbol and you see the bar across the middle, that's like an equal sign. So that what is above in our consciousness equals what is below in form. And we're going to talk more about how to move that equivalence. And that's what the class Mental Equivalence is about. And Katrina and I are so excited already. Like, we have like 5 weeks to go, and we have 11 people signed up to take this class. And so if you have any inkling at all, if you'd like to take the class, please let us know. If you have any challenges to taking this class, let us know that as well, because we would like to see if we can help you to clear any resistances. And go ahead.
And on a different Zoom, this is one given by Home Office. What It Takes to Heal, free book study open to all. And you can register on the CSL National newsletter. There's no charge to attend, and you can contact Vicki for questions and assistance in registering. It's a 5-week virtual book study starting Wednesday, September 25th. And volunteer opportunities with our tech support team. We need help letting people in on Sundays and train to run Zoom. You can contact Vicki or Vernon for details. I'll let Vicki take this over.
And so this has been our Unexpected Income Initiative for the past few months. And being that we're coming into the 1st of September, today closes our reference to this officially right now, although we certainly want you to understand that as you work with unexpected income, continuing this process yourself is recommended. The more we work with something like honoring unexpected income. That's one way that we grow our mental equivalence. And but officially, as a community, we're going to close this now for September, and we have some new ideas coming, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in just a moment. So for this time, you guys out in the world, all you in the community, collected $2,873 in unexpected income. And then go ahead to the next slide, Vernon. And that brought into LCSL $338 that we wouldn't have gotten if we were not practicing this together. And so thank you to everyone that experienced unexpected income and was able to share it in the ways that you have. And the piece that I want to tell you now is that as this program closes, we are firing up a new program, which is a committed giving program. And I'm going to be sending out in the next week or two a very brief little survey about how you see your ability to give on a very practical level that is going to cumulatively support LCSL in having some idea of what our income will be as we're looking at our budget process for 2025. And so it's just going to be called our Committed Giving Program, and you'll be hearing more about it within the next week or two. And that is all said with such gratitude for everything that comes through you all that helps us to keep doing what we do in the world. Go ahead, Vernon.
And you're welcome to stay for sharing time after the benediction. And please always remember and don't ever forget that you are magnificent. Now join us for our closing song, I Want to Live by John Denver.
This song was written for children all over the world. It's become much more than that for me. It's a song not only for children everywhere, and my strong belief that we are all the same, no matter what language we speak, no matter what color we are, no matter the form of our politics or the expression of our faith, that people everywhere are the same, and that the birth cry of every newborn baby everywhere is the same. But I believe that I hear this in the child within, as Marjorie Paul was speaking of today. I hear this in the cell of each petal of every flower, of every leaf, of every blade of grass, certainly in the whales and the dolphins in the oceans, certainly in the stars that shine in the heavens. There are children raised in sorrow on a scorched and barren plain. There are children raised beneath the golden sun. There are children of the water and children of the sand, and they cry out through the universe, their voices raised as one. I want to live, I want to grow, I want to see, I want to know, I want to share what I can give, I want to be, I want to live. Have you gazed out on the ocean, seen the breaching of a whale? Have you watched the dolphins frolic in the foam? Have you heard the song the humpback hears 500 miles away, telling tales of ancient history, of passages and home? I want to live, I want to grow, I want to see, and I want to know, I want to share what I can give, I want to be, I want to live. For the worker and the warrior, the lover and the liar, for the native and the wanderer in kind, for the maker and the user, the mother and her son. I'm looking for my family, and all of you are mine. We're standing all together, face to face, arm in arm. We are standing on the threshold of a dream. No more hunger, no more killing, no more wasting life away. It's simply an idea, but I know its time has come. I want to live, I want to grow, I want to see, I want to know, I want to share what I can give. I want to be, I want to live, and I want to grow. I want to see and I want to know. I want to share what I can give. I want to be, I want to live, and I want to grow. I want to see, I want to know. I want to share what I can give. I want to be, I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. Good night, everybody. God bless us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That could, of course, be our benediction. However, I did find this benediction, which was tailored to Pieces into Peace. So I do invite you to say this with me. May the light shine upon you to illuminate your way. May you stand on a mountaintop and see a brighter day. May all the separate pieces of your world become one whole. May Spirit hold you safe in love, mind, body, and soul. May you flow like the river as we kneel upon your shore. May you bend like the tallest tree in the winter storm. May you fly on the wings of freedom in peace forevermore. May Spirit hold you safe in love, mind, body, and soul. May you always love with everything and know everything is love. May you never cry for what you can't be. In your hand is just enough. May you hold and shine the light that shines in you and teach us what you know. May Spirit hold you safe in love, mind, body, and soul.